You said something earlier too that struck me, and I appreciated it because it shows the grace in you. You mentioned, I think you used the phrase, everyone's on a journey. What did you mean by that exactly? And how can we take that thought and amplify that in our church to grow and to do better?
Yeah, so my background is communication. So I see things, I think, differently. I don't just look at cultural issues and say what's right and what's wrong, because I understand that there's always a continuum. So if we look at the process of persuasion, there's a continuum of persuasion. And what we often do, and I'm sure all of us have experienced this on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram, is we stand over here on this side of the continuum, or we stand over here on this side of the continuum, and we yell at each other back and forth, and we give all of these stats and ideas, and we think that because we have a great argument, everybody's just going to understand. And that is not how persuasion works. You will never move somebody more than 2 steps outside of their current anchor point. So if you have somebody over here on the conversation that says there is no such thing as systemic racism, all lives matter, this is not at all an issue, people are just being too loud, no matter what stats or figures you throw at them, they're never going to move more than 2 points outside of that original anchor point. So the key to communicators is, how do I figure out what your anchor point is? How do I figure out where you currently stand? And then how do I lead you just those 2 steps outside? So what this looks like is, if somebody was to walk in my office right now, it's called foot in the door. If someone was to walk in my office right now, and a stranger, and say, hey, can you take me to the bookstore? I'm lost. I would maybe be hesitant about that because I don't know you, you're a stranger, this could be a dangerous situation for me. So I might say no if you just walk in. But if you say to me, hey, I'm lost on campus, will you just walk me down the hallway? I'll walk you down the hallway. I feel safe to do that. And now as I'm walking you down the hallway, you say, I'm just still not sure where I'm going. Can you just take me to the elevator? Now we're in the elevator, we're talking, we're riding together. Now we're down the elevator. You say, I'm just trying to figure out, is it this way or that way? And next thing I know, I've walked you all the way to the bookstore. I walked you all the way to the campus bookstore, but I would have never done that if I didn't start out on a journey to just get 1 foot in the door. And so that's why I say conversations like this are extremely important, because it's the foot in the door. And if you can get, this is how we view persuasion, this is how we view communication. If you can get 1 foot inside someone's door, you can always take them to the bookstore. But you have to do it through time and relationship. It is never going to work to yell at them outside the door. How dare you not walk me to the bookstore? What's wrong with you? Don't you know how rude that is? It will never work. You have to figure out, what is this person's anchor point? And how do I take them just 2 steps outside? How do I introduce them to just one thing that maybe they'd be willing to see differently if it was still closely aligned to how they see things? And I just think most people aren't willing to put in the work. And that's why I say these topics, politics, religion, race, these hot button issues where people tend to have very strong anchor points, it's holy work. Because you're never going to convince somebody in one conversation or in one sermon or in one video. All you're trying to do is get a foot in the door, and then you have to have, and this is why I said it needs to be a local church level conversation, you have to have people who are willing to continue the journey with that person, walking them to the bookstore.